Hello and welcome to ICANN Media. We are coming to you from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We are just outside of Canada Place where a huge conference is going on called Globe 2014. I'm your host, Rob Hislop, and over the next couple of days we're going to be heading into the conference, taking in some of the many sessions and talking to some of the keynote speakers. Some of the topics discussed: changing energy landscapes and responsible resource management. Now, there are over 250 plus speakers, world leaders in their industry, talking here over the next 3 days. 50 plus countries are represented, and there are over 300 exhibitors at the trade show. We are going to give you a taste of what Globe 2014 has in store. Joining us now on ICANN Media is Jacques Benoit with SNC-Lavalin. You were the moderator at this latest session, which was earning social license to operate.
Yes, I was.
Explain to me what that was about.
Well, it's trying to get the communities more involved in resource development projects and get their buy-in. There's a lot of lack of trust out there from the communities and the stakeholders. So companies have to do a better job of building on that trust and eventually get what is commonly called their social license to operate.
It's interesting because a lot of companies do believe that they are doing a lot to get information out, especially these days.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think there's a lot more being done now than there was even 5 years ago. I think companies are realizing that they do need to get the public involved, include people throughout the whole life cycle of the project. It's not just at the beginning, it's throughout the operation, the construction, the operation, and all the way through the end.
What about past reputations? I mean, the oil industry is trying to change how people look at it. Other industries, chemical industry, done similar things as well. How do you combat the past?
Well, I mean, you have to show by good example today. I mean, there's nothing we can do about the past. You heard during the session that events can derail a lot of good things, and we've had incidences recently in the rail industry with trains and so on and so forth, where the rail industry had a generally good reputation. And so it's a continuous process of demonstrating the good things that the industries are doing.
You mentioned the rail industry, and without getting too specific, I mean, now both rail companies are talking about either retrofitting their oil cars or changing them completely, but it took a disaster, which of course would have soured people on their reputation for quite a while now, Emmett.
Yes, I think unfortunately most industries react to incidences. The airline industry, has made many changes over the last few years, but it's because of, there's been crashes, there's been incidences, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to change a whole lot. Companies are trying to be very proactive, but at the end of the day, there's always a cost element to this, and they have to make sure that their projects are viable and sustainable in the long run. So I think it's always a challenge.
I can't remember if it was you that said it or whether it was one of the other panelists, basically that industry and government are two areas that people just don't trust.
Oh, that's correct. I mean, there's just been a lack of trust over the years of companies, and they have to build on that. And again, it's getting working with the communities, finding out what their issues are, and building that trust, showing them that they deliver on what they say.
Last question for you. When it comes to the community, how do you ensure that you're getting the information out there? Because I used to be in media and we'd do stories on healthcare. We'd have to go out and talk to the community. They have no idea how the healthcare system operates, but they've all got opinions. So how do you cut through the opinion and the informed opinion?
I think there are people out there and that are very knowledgeable that the communities can consult with and so that they are well informed. They know what questions to ask. I think that's the most difficult thing for communities is what should I ask of the proponents about their project. I mean, there's all the technical issues and things like that, but usually they're not very technically knowledgeable. But there are people out there that can help them. There are companies, and I think they need that, and they need to find the resources to be able to put those questions forward.
Jacques, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
We've been chatting with Jacques Benoit here on ICANN Media.